everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Tommy Talks show. I'm Tommy Talks. This is my buddy Voyager.
Freddy.
Freddy. What's up, Freddy? Thank you everybody for joining me today and joining Freddy and I. We have some very interesting conversations coming up, and I'm glad you guys are here. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow and stay up to date with us. I will also be sharing Freddy/Voyager's information in the comments and in the description below. Definitely make sure you go check out Freddy. We're definitely going to learn more about him today. Most of you might know Freddy as Voyager. The idea today is to learn who Freddy is. I know Voyager. Met him a few months ago. He's a very good guy. But the whole point of this is to learn who Freddy is. So, Freddy, who is Freddy? Who are you?
I'm a guy that's been traveling through life, learning from everywhere he goes to. That's why it's a Voyager. I've been always a traveler. I don't stay in one place, if that makes sense. I don't get comfortable with one place. I always try to branch out or go where the energy is good, where the energy is taking me, you know? Sometimes it's not always the same thing. Sometimes you go this way, sometimes you go the other way. And this is how I am, and I just do whatever makes me happy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm an explorer by nature. That's probably my one thing that probably describe me the best. Anything that has to do with nature, I'll try to jump into it and see what I could do with it. Like camping. I haven't done too much of it, but I'll do it. Hiking, disc golfing, things like that. But yeah, I'm a goofy dude.
Goofy.
I love goofy. I'm a goofy guy. I like to keep people smiling.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes I'm not in that mood. Like, I know how much one smile or one like experience of smiling and laughing could impact the person.
Yeah.
Like going through stuff that I've gone through, I know that sometimes like being around friends or stuff and having that good time just makes the day.
Yeah, smiles are contagious.
Yes,
right?
Definitely. So I want to have like that experience with the most people I could meet or be with.
Yeah.
I'm around and I'm trying to have a good time. So that way, when you go back home, if you're going through something, you'll remember the good time.
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so going back to the exploring Earth and stuff, how long has that been kind of like a thing? Have you been doing that since you were younger? Is it something that you started as younger, or is this something that you just kind of recently came across?
No, it's something that I've learned to love. Well, everybody as a kid loves going to the park.
Yeah. Sure.
Everybody loves going to the beach, the basics of nature, you know? Just because most of the time that's as a kid, that's where they take you and you have a blast because you're hanging around with cousins, you're hanging around with family.
You spend the whole day.
Yes, and I remember always having a good time when it came to those things, but I was never connected to nature like that. I'd be like, oh, I'm a nature person, but it all changed when I moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Because I grew up in the back of the yards of Chicago. I'm there now. I came back to the back of the yards, but just still beautiful. But back of the yards was a pretty tough neighborhood growing up to. And then once I moved to Nashville, my whole perspective of life just changed because here you come from living in the hood, where all you do in here is hood shit. Like, that's all you know about. In any kind of forms like music, living, school, everything. It's all hood based, all hood mentality. All that's what comes into you. So when I moved to Nashville, it just completely changed my whole perspective of life. Not just like moving from another place to another place, like environment, like life. Like I remember my music taste started changing. I started connecting more to nature because over there's a bunch of mountains, trees, and all that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and trails, beautiful trails out there. And then every year I started going to a waterfall called Coming Falls.
Okay.
And I go every year with my cousin, and it was just beautiful. It was a hike down like the side of the mountain, and then a hike through the water. It's like you could go through the side. There's like rocks, but it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to get your shoes wet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
I don't mind getting my shoes
wet.
Yeah.
So we gotta get in there, get wet, and then it's about, depending how fast you walk, maybe 20 to 30-minute walk.
Okay.
Before you get to like a waterfall.
Yeah.
And then experiencing that, like going there and in a waterfall, like a real waterfall, not like that.
Not like the fire pump waterfall.
Not that little basic man-made waterfall. But it was real one, and then you got your you could swim in the water and everything. It was beautiful, but
crystal clear too.
No, it wasn't that crystal clear, but
the water I
was still good.
Tennessee was always crystal clear.
That's all that I just started changing me as a person, and then I got into disc golf.
Okay.
My buddies from work were introduced me to disc golf, and the first time I tried it, I actually didn't like it, because if you don't know, disc golf is pretty much you have a frisbee.
Yeah.
And
a weighted frisbee.
Weighted frisbee, different styles. You got your long range, your mid range, your putters. It's like golf, basic rules with 18 holes. A part of 3 or 4 depending on how the distance of the net to where you throw. And so when we started playing, I didn't like it because I thought it was a frisbee. I'm like, it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
What is it? And then I threw it, and it just it was bad. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this game. But it was also like, because it's the the competition in you, the manhood in you. You're like, oh, I'm gonna kill this, and then you get in there and you're weak. You don't got nothing, and you're like, oh, fuck this.
It takes skill.
Yeah, it takes
skill. That's like a science.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't really about the skill for me or anything. It was gradually turned into me feeling bad about it because I couldn't play it right, to because of the people that I was playing with. They were all chill, relaxing. We didn't take points. We didn't nothing. Like when we were learning, we'll throw from who threw it farthest. And it was just a bunch of people hanging around, medicating, drinking, and being around nature, man. That's probably the best thing, is just being around nature. It almost felt like a hike.
Yeah. And how old were you when you moved to Tennessee?
22.
So you went most of your life in Chicago. So as you were an adult when you moved to Nashville then.
Yeah. I lived in the back of the yards for about 17 years.
Okay.
My senior year, my dad wanted to move, so we moved to South Holland, and I was there for about about 2 years.
How'd you like that?
It was cool. It was a whole different, again, change of environment. So
it was a lot more quiet than the back of the yards.
Oh yeah, definitely more quiet, more free. You felt that freedom right away. You're walking to your friend's house without worrying what street you're gonna take.
It was a suburb, yeah.
Without looking like in the back, like what's going on. And so yeah, from there I ended up getting with my kid's mother, and then from there we moved to Summit, Argo.
Okay.
And we were there for about a year or so, and then the reason Nashville was a place for me to move is because as a kid, I grew up with my cousin. We grew up as babies at the same house actually, and then we grew, and then we got different houses. But it's still in Chicago. We visited almost every weekend. We visit each other almost every weekend. Then eventually, because my uncle would work in construction, he moved to Nashville because there was work over there, and his in-laws had work over there. So they're like, all right, let's pack and move. So I used to visit him for about 3 summers, full summers. I went over there and I loved it, man.
But how was that decision to move? I mean, to just pack up, like, how was that decision? Was it hard for you, or was it kind of like,
no, it was easy. Because like I said, I went 3 summers in a row, and then I loved it. And I told my cousin, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to move here. It didn't happen at 18, but eventually the opportunity came about because his brother-in-law had a business with gutter. Mm-hmm. And he's like, hey, bro, I need people to work for me. You want to come? Nice. That was it. I told kid's mother, like, hey, do you want to move out there? She never been there, so we actually went to visit her for vacation for a bit. She liked it, came back, and we moved.
That's awesome.
Did the move, and that's all I needed was like a job opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
And it was hard, dude, because in the beginning, because like moving out there, I wasted all my last of my money with the moving and all that.
Yeah.
And I had to like sell some of my stuff to gather up any little money for me to have it over there.
Yeah.
And then eventually I stayed with my cousin, and then from there I went to my aunt's house, uncle and aunt's house, and then shortly after that, we got our own apartment.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, what made you come back to Chicago?
My kids, because fortunately, they didn't work with the kid's mother.
Oh, so that's a very long distance too.
Yeah, so they came back 3 years in. She didn't have no family or anything out there. And she was like, I want to move back to Chicago. It's where I have my family and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. I understood. I was going to be an asshole and be like, no, you got to stay here. Like, the thing about me is I understand to an extent, you know? So I understood. And I'm like, all right, that's fair. But I wanted to stay in Nashville because I loved it. I love it, bro. It's my second home. And then I tried it for about 2 years, and I fell into a deep depression because I wasn't seeing my kids. And our relationship was breaking apart, and it was hard. My son, not so much, because he was still around the age of, 2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So he was still pretty small and attached.
Yeah.
But my daughter, she was a little old. She's 2 years older, so I started seeing that she was getting separated from me. So the very last time that I went to visit him, or one of the last times, she didn't even want to come with me no more. She just wanted to be with her mom, and I was just like, fuck.
That's rough.
Yeah, came back home, and it messed me up.
I'm gonna get my baby.
You're singing a lullaby.
Are you gonna sing to him live? Dude, you're messing up the show. You're messing up the show.
Bring him along.
Yeah.
Put him in the show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Hey,
what's up, man?
Say hi to the camera. Take it easy, okay? So everybody, slight change of plans.
Yeah.
This is parenthood, right? So you know about parenthood. You were just talking about your kids.
Yeah.
So you came back because it was rough for your kids, and how's your relationship changed with your kids since then? I mean, I see you guys doing stuff all the time.
It's beautiful, and so yeah, I went through it, and I couldn't. I cried a lot. I didn't even love Nashville no more.
Yeah.
So I had to come back. Came back, and after that, it became more. It became beautiful, man. When I came back, actually, we tried to work together again with the kid's mother to make it work. And right away, after like a year or so, I saw that it went back to negative. So I was like, I'm out. I'm not gonna do this no more. But I mean, it's like the in you is the your parents' teachings, your community teachings, that you have a family, you gotta keep it together no matter what.
Yeah, but especially in the Latino sense, I think too.
Oh yeah, especially Latinos is like, that's all, like still to this, like not till this day no more, but like for a long time I'm always be like, oh, you gotta make it work and this and that, and no, I'm not gonna make that work. But again, restrictions of time with the kids, you start seeing the difference, what it does when you're not there all the time.
Yeah,
it still kills me, especially right around the holidays right now. Because I'm not there every day. I'm not get to see him the holiday thing. I don't get to be like the whole family thing on the holiday. So it fucks me up, man. So, but you work with what you got, and actually, like, I've been working with my relationship with my kids, because I have them my days off, and then every other weekend.
Okay.
So I usually like to, because my days off are differentiate.
Yeah.
Every month or so, so we get to bid for days off. And I like to have Monday and Tuesdays off. That's why I have them in the weekend and the Monday, Tuesday. So it's all connected.
Like an extended, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have to drive back and forth so much because they're in Indiana. So and I'm in Chicago, so I drive a lot. But recently moved in with my girl. And we got a place in the back of the yards.
Nice.
And so been dealing with the whole kid situation and new environment and everything. And at first it was cool. They loved it. They have their own room and they get to chill there all the time. But I started seeing that our relationship was breaking apart. Not because it's in a bad way. Like I'm not paying attention to them or they're not. It's just they just wanted to be more in the room, doing their own thing, and I'll be in the living room or try to butt in, and they don't really want to have me there. So I had to like switch things around, like. And that's the thing about parenting, like don't just let things happen. Like once you see something, like specifically when you're losing your distance with your kids, try to change it. Find ways to change it. For example, me and my son we disc golf, or sometimes my daughter comes and we disc golf, and that's our connection.
Yeah, I see that.
Like right now at the house, I tell them to come to the living room now. Instead of hanging in their room, I tell them, bring the Xbox here. Isabella, you bring your laptop over here, and we'll all be in the room just chilling.
Yeah.
But in the same environment.
Yeah. And
that has helped a lot because now I have a way better relationship with my kids again.
Yeah.
And we're more connected. We're more... like we're laughing, having a nice little moments here and there.
It's like family time, and you're learning more about them too.
Oh yeah.
You can actually see what they're watching and what they're playing, and interact with them too. I mean, it's pretty cool.
And I'm in there with them, like I'm doing things with them, and it's a big difference from our parents, you know.
Yeah.
Like it got to the point, like I don't know specifically other people's parents, but it gets to the point you're getting older, you just get more distant naturally. It happens. That's naturally, but. Also, from a parent's perspective of their generation, it's like they never got no love, they never got no attention.
Yeah.
Especially where they came from. So how do they know what to do?
Yeah.
So that's why I mean, I bless them for what they did to me, man. But I also know that there's better ways and there's better things to do as a parent. So I've learned from them, and I understand how they did things, which is the most important thing is to understand them.
Yeah.
Like whatever they went through, whatever they did to you, it's just try to understand and figure out like they went through something worse than you to get to that point. So just understand that and not hate on it, but also like we all know, like you talked about it, if you don't have the better relationship with your parents or anything, doesn't mean that you have to hate them. You still love them because they raised you.
Yeah, you respect
them. But at
them.
the same time, you respect your happiness. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be with them all the time. Check on them, check up on them, call them, visit them once in a while. Just make sure that love's still there, you know.
Yeah.
But also know your balance in your mind, because sometimes being around your parents all the time doesn't bring you good balance.
Yeah.
Or being around family or certain friends or just certain anybody, like it doesn't give you the best balance that you could get.
Yeah.
So you just gotta learn how to balance everything out.
Well, that's good that you're learning this stuff now, and you're laying that foundation for your kids. I mean, I read something and it was saying like, you don't realize that while you're growing up, your parents are growing up with you, you know, and it's just like, and I realize that every day, like, as I'm raising my kids, I'm just like, fuck, like, now I realize why my parents were this or that, you know, it's you learn more about life, and in a sense, it's kind of like, you learn how fucked up life gets as the older you get sometimes, and it is what you make of it, I guess. But going back to your parents, what were they like? What are they like? Like, I don't know your parents. Tell me about your parents.
As a parenting?
Well, no, just about them in general. Like, where are they from?
They're both from Guadalajara, Mexico.
Okay.
They essentially came from a ranch.
Okay.
And the ranch life is a tough life, man.
Yeah, like, my wife's parents came from a rancho life too, and
they drop out of school right away. As soon as they can, they drop them out to work. Work. All you gotta do is work, make money. So that's all on their perspective. That's all in their head, like they know work, make this money.
Yeah.
Make the family work, and then all they install you as a kid, especially from the rancho, is get married as soon as possible and get your family started.
Yeah.
And keep them afloat, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's why plus the I'm pretty sure they didn't get no love from their parents like that.
No.
So they got no love. Or you quit school, go to work, and get a family as soon as possible. You know how hard it is having a family, man. It's hard, man.
Well, and I feel like, you know, like my old generations, they had more kids and shit. Like, how the hell did they have, you know, 10 kids and live on a ranch? You know, I mean, like, how the fuck did they do that? You know, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I have 3 kids, and I'm just like, shit. Like, how the hell am I gonna do all that? You know, like, it's a lot of food, it's a lot of utilities and shit. And it's just the way that they got through it, you know, but not everybody kind of made it through mentally. You know what I mean? Mentally, like, that's rough.
That's why a lot of people, especially men, are alcoholics.
Yeah.
Coming from that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like coming that and then coming into a new thing like America and not knowing the language, and now you got all that in your head. You got a family, you got to work.
It's pressure.
Now you got to find a place, and it's a lot of pressure. And then we didn't, like, even back in the days, they never knew who to talk to. They told them not to talk to nobody. Just take it in. Yeah. The best way to do it is drinking or whatever habits they get into, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they came from Mexico. Came to America. My he's just been a hard worker all his life, man. And I didn't get to see him too much as my kids get to see me, because he always worked. Came back from work and pretty much eats, sleep, work. Yeah. Eat, sleep, work. And the best times that we always had was when we went to see family members. You'll get to see like their real sides, like who they really are, because they loosen up. They're around family, people around their own same age. Yeah. So you get to see them who they are, and you're like, oh, okay, this is amazing. And then back home, you get to like see some of their teachings. And I mean, because you grew, like, having that kind of family and stuff, you grew up to like violence and stuff like that. But to me, that's normal, coming from where they came from and how they came from it. Yeah. It's life. Yeah,
that's what they knew. It's I was talking to somebody, and they were saying that they have children, and like their child's in high school, but they didn't go to high school. And they're like, we didn't have parents that told us, like, get good grades, go to school. Like, they told us to get a job. They said, you know, education's not that important, you know. And you have these generations just telling these new generations, and it's just like constant, just like trying to get back up, and then you're just setting people up for failure, man. Well, not necessarily failure, but, you know, not success.
The best
mental success, physical success.
Yeah, and it's hard for them like that, man. So yeah, but other than that, relationship was good and all that. Try to do the best for you. You know, sometimes that's not the best way, but that's the best way they could provide for you. That's the best way they could explain it to you, you know?
And what's your relationship like with them now?
It's good. Yeah. Talk to them once in a while. Yeah, they're in Blue Island. Visit them when I can. Nice. So it's just, I keep my distance. Like, I'm not the kind of person that calls them every day, visits them all the time. Yeah. I just keep my distance. Especially right now, because not only do I have my own thing going on, but I got the clothing line, and I got a lot of shit to do. Yeah. I got a lot of people that I want to see. I got a lot of moves and kids and everything, man. Yeah. But I still, like, once in a while, I go see them and make sure they're good, talk to them for a little bit and everything, but it's all love, man.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's good. So I guess to switch away from the more serious stuff, I'll just ask you a few random questions, if that's cool. What's your favorite movie?
I got a couple. The Goofy movie.
Okay.
Of course. I love Goofy, and I love that storyline. Both of the movies are good. The one he went to college, but the one where he went road tripping and all that. That one was amazing, bro. You got to witness a relationship between a dad and his kid and stuff. Yeah,
that was touching, dude. It was deep for sure.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man. And then, like, back then they did it, like, it's funny because they said, like, when you were a kid you were on Max's side, but now that you're older you're on Goofy's side. Yeah. And it's pretty funny to see that, and that's how life is, man. Yeah. And Blood In, Blood Out, of course, that's always been one of my top favorite movies, man.
Yeah. What's your favorite scene?
Damn, man. I don't know. My favorite scene from that movie.
And I guess my other question would be, if you had to pick one character from that movie, who would you be?
Blood In, Blood Out?
Yeah. Or I guess who would you identify most with if you want? I don't know.
Probably the artist, Crucito.
Okay.
Just because he comes from an artistic background, and that was always, you could tell that was his like escape, and that was his thing.
That guy struggled, man.
And then he went through a whole drug thing, and that comes naturally in the neighborhoods you live in, man.
Yeah.
Those are the things around that are around you, so naturally that's how you it somehow it just comes into your life just because it's in your community. The community raises you,
and it's so easily accessible too.
Oh yeah. And then his brother died because of his drug addiction.
That was fucking tough.
And then that's when he like broke, and then even though he was making his paintings and doing a good thing from him, like making it big, his street life was still grabbing him like, nah, you're still one of us.
You know how many people identify with that,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it's even like back of yards, right? Pilsen, like all these communities who are like known for like artistic stuff. It's like drugs are a big thing in all of these neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They're beautiful neighborhoods, but it's like you don't see the real side of it, right? It's
Oh
just,
yeah.
I mean, Pilsen's a lot different from when I grew up. When
Yeah.
I was in Pilsen, you know, it was like gang infested, where it's still kind of bad, right? But it was ranked one of the nicest neighborhoods to live in Chicago a few years ago, and now an apartment, you know, that used to be like $500 is almost $2,000.
Yeah.
You know, in Pilsen, it's crazy, but yeah, that's how it is in those neighborhoods, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then to see that transition of him, he was always like the guy that was just flying by. It looked like.
Yeah.
Because the Miklo was going through like the ups and downs because he's white in a Mexican neighborhood.
Trying to fit in.
And the older one, Paco, was already in it. He was all about it. Like that was his thing. And he was more of like, I'm an artist, but this is my neighborhood. So I still roll with it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, like he got fucked up. They busted his back. And then he went through all that, and his little brother. And the fact that he got addicted more to drugs because he hurt his back, and they started putting like pills in him.
Yeah.
And then that thing wouldn't even do anything to him no more. And he's like, I gotta get drugs. But that, and then at the end, he's still doing his painting, his artwork, and he looked like he's doing good now.
Yeah.
And he's pumping the other guy up, the Paco. He's like, hey, man, that's life, man. That's how it is, bro. You gotta keep living. You know, pretty much that's what he told him. Like, bro, this is who we were. This is what happened in our lives. It's all right. That's life, man. Now we gotta keep going, man.
Yeah, that ending scene, that was a good scene, man.
Yeah, it was a good scene.
Seeing them look at that mural of them.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man. So that's why I wanted to, because that storyline on Blood In, Blood Out is beautiful, man.
And it's so
realistic.
Exactly, it's realistic. A lot of people can fit into that, unfortunately, but.
And especially coming from being a Latino, you know.
Yeah.
And then Wally's another one of my favorite movies.
Wally, I could never get into that movie, dude.
What?
I don't know what it is. Maybe I have to try watching it again, but
it's the concept, and it's beautiful, man. Like it's like realistic too in the future sense. Like we left Earth because we fucked Earth up already.
Yeah.
Now we're in a spaceship floating around, and we're all big and fucking things just rolling around, doing what they're telling us to do. Everything's being controlled.
Yeah.
We're slowly getting into that, man. And then on top of that, like Wally was back in Earth, just living his best life, collecting garbage and making piles, and going back to this little hut where he had all these little artifacts and his little cockroach best friend.
Yeah.
And then here comes the spaceship falls in love with Eva, and then going to like. The whole concept of her going back was to see if Earth was good again, to grow and stuff. And he had the key to come back to Earth. And that pretty much woke everybody up and be like, man, we gotta go back to Earth.
Yeah.
But I just love the love scene between the robots and all that, and the simplicity of Wally, but yet he's so impactful and stuff. I completely just love the storyline and everything about that movie, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what about music?
Man,
I think I know the answer, but who's your favorite artist?
So let me. It started with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs, all right.
Bone Thugs and Harmony was my first love of music.
Where did you first hear that? I'm curious.
When I lived in the back of the yards.
Like was it on the radios or like your cousins?
My friend showed me a tape because there used to be cassette tapes and they were like purple and something. And they were like kind of like gangsterish Spanish old school rap.
Old English rap.
Yeah, old English. And I happened to listen to a Bone Thug track on there.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember listening to it, but I didn't know who they were. And then later on, I had another friend that lived down the block that like was one of her best friends growing up, and he was into it. And then I started getting into it. And then because I grew up with Mexican music.
Yeah.
So once like the hip hop going into school, you got introduced to hip hop, and then like again like I know the hip hop and everything, but nothing like really impacted me. Like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
And then Bone Thugs came about, and I'm like, I started like getting all their music, finding out individually artists, like who are they, what's it about.
They're a whole vibe, man.
Dude, they're amazing. The whole storyline is amazing too, how they came up. But it went from that, and then it slowly turned into the Beatles, and that was when I went to school in the back of the yards. One of my social studies teachers, Mr. Slakis, he used to put the Beatles while we do work.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I like this. And then my aunt used to be into it, so then she exposed me more into it, and then I started exposing myself more into the Beatles. And then you know how they went to the rock and roll sex thing, and then they went to like the psychedelic one.
Yeah.
The psychedelic is where I'm like, boom, I'm like, whoa, what is this? And then I started getting into psychedelic rock. I started getting into like rock, like Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
Earth, Wind and Fire, stuff like that. But
very diverse.
The Beatles was like one of my favorite bands, dude. My son's name is Ringo.
Yeah.
You know? So it went from that. Not only that, but they changed my perspective too. Like as far as going to Nashville and the music, it all just intertwined and changed my perspective of life and who I was. So it went from that, and then my new favorite artist was Kid Cudi. I love Kid Cudi, bro. I connected with his music so much, man. He's just a sad person going through it, and he was never afraid to expose himself like that in the rap field.
Yeah.
And now it's a thing.
Yeah, he was like one of the first ones, yeah.
And still to his new music that he creates, it's just like I connect to it, bro.
Yeah.
Still, like if you listen to his lyrics, there's some deep lyrics, man.
Yeah, and some deep beats.
Some very deep lyrics. You're like, man, that's very nice. So that's why sometimes when I post pictures with music, I use his music. And
I noticed
put the lyrics so you kind of tell what the mood's about.
Yeah.
And then A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is one of my probably biggest influences in creating and just opening my mind to different things as far as creating. Like
he's deep, pretty deep too. I feel like
it's because he's a storyline in the song, man. He's not just like a boom, doom, 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 and then he's like he starts with a doom, 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 and then he'll go like to like angelic kind of, and then come back to the doom, doom, doom,
doom.
He's different. He's different, man. You could tell like he's definitely invested in his music and he loves what he does because his creativity is up there, man. And then his music videos. A lot of people are doing music videos like him now. Like Travis Scott's one of the biggest people there. I could tell he got influenced by him. I won't say copy, but he got influenced by him, and you could tell because his stuff is out there, man.
Yeah.
And then, but if you see A$AP Rocky's music and music videos, they were always like that, bro. He was always about that. I'm a hood, but I'm tripping. I'm a trippy person. I'm learning fashion. I'm learning this. I'm learning that. And
he opened the doors for a lot of that.
I loved it. And then, so whenever I'm creating and I'm like trying to get something like specifically a video or just like having I call it the purple bag kind of mind. I put them on. I get medicated, and I'm like, man, I fall into it, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, and then awesome. Mac Miller too. Mac Miller is one of my favorite ones too, and it's just because his lyrics are deep. Like I like his transition of rap. Like at first, he was just spitting, bro. He wanted to let you know he's good.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I got I got words to say.
Yeah.
So he just flows. He's like a Biggie. Like Biggie is like he flows, bro.
It just sounded so good.
Right. And the words connect perfectly, bro. It's not like he's just saying gibberish.
Yeah.
And then he went from more like a mental state, like as specifically his last 2 albums, you could tell where he was at mentally.
Yeah.
So that's why when I put him on, specifically his last 2 albums, I know what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a it's not okay to be okay mood. He's in that frequency.
Yeah.
And then his lyrics and the songs, the way he sings it, the way the beats are going in, like you feel it, bro.
Yeah.
You feel it. Like you feel his pain. You feel where he was at, bro. And then a lot of times I feel like that. So I feel like I'm right there with him, you know?
Yeah.
And then he just sparks creativity too. Like some of my drops been inspired by him. The Don't Trip, Keep Floating pins.
Yeah.
Because of him. The what's it called? Tiny Desk concert.
Yeah.
He had a hat that said Don't Trip. So that sparked the idea. And then one of his lyrics, there's water in the flower that's grow, is one of my shirts. And I used the Wally boot in the background too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been deep. And then plus, dude, the way I connected it to it, like I said before, like my boy, they had a miscarriage, so I went out there to be with them. And so when I was over there with them, they were mourning. The energy was dark, dude. The energy was. They were mourning, bro. You could tell where it was at, and I was the same way, bro. Because as soon as he broke the news to me, I cried too, bro. That's one of my best friends, man.
Yeah.
And so I went out there. People have different ways of mourning. All we did is medicated, and then I'm like, "You guys want to drink?" And they're like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Let's go get some alcohol." So we're on the road to getting some alcohol, and then they're playing Mac Miller, and I don't know who. Like I didn't pay attention too much to Mac Miller music at all.
Yeah.
And then I started like, "Who's this?" He's like, "Mac Miller." Next song, "Who's this?" Mac Miller. I'm like, "Damn, Mac Miller."
He was
Like,
vibing.
wow. And then it was beautiful because now I'm paying attention to I pay attention to the music through other people. So if you tell me, "Oh, listen to this guy," and you're like, "Oh, this, oh, listen to this. Oh, watch this part," then I'm in it. I'm right there with you. And then they had what's it called? I forgot what that song's called. I always forget what the song's called. Jet Fuel. Mm-hmm. They played Jet Fuel, and both of them, they were in the front seat, right in the back. They're rapping, lyric to lyric. They're at each other, bro. At this point, they're like kind of smiling too, like they're
having fun. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys believe in energy, but I feel the morning energy just lift. At that moment, there was a specific moment where they were in this fucking frequency. They were in this energy sphere or something where they were good.
Yeah.
I was in the back crying, bro. I was just like, I just saw that. I felt it. I was just like, and I was just crying. And then we went back home, and then we did our thing, chilled. And then the next day I came back home. But because of that, I'm like, I gotta listen to Mac Miller. And I started studying this whole thing.
Yeah.
And of course, the last 2 albums are the ones that connect to me. So I always stick to those. So those are probably my top favorite artists.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I mean, they're all different, but they're all good.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. That's awesome, man. What else? I think we covered a lot. Do you have any questions for me? Or maybe we can any final remarks maybe to the audience?
How is the new journey with your son now that you had your kids?
It's definitely getting used to. I mean, it takes getting used to. It's fantastic. I mean, I think the level of joy that I'm having with this third kid is completely different. I'm in a different mindset, you know. And although I love all of my children, you know, I'm trying to be more mindful, trying to be a better parent, you know, trying to enjoy more of those moments, like you said, having the family come together more, and that's what we're trying to do. You know, my wife and I are working very hard to make sure that we love our kids, and you know, we spend time with them and invest in them.
Yeah.
And it's hard because we're working so much, and you know, we got our own different things that we're working on, and you know, like, you know, it's hard. And like you said, I definitely was starting to feel that, like, I'm not spending as much time with them. Because it's hard trying to do your own thing, trying to do your own brand like you and balance it, and then you have to work because you have to pay bills, and this is your passion, but this isn't where your money comes from, and it's, you of all people know exactly what it's like, but we're doing the best that we can, and he's great. He's knocked out, so it's good, just trying to balance it and not let the stress get to me. Live in the moment, because it's not always going to be bad. Things are not always going to be happy, so just kind of like riding that wave with my family, understanding that we're going to have mistakes. We're going to be upset because of stress. We might say some things or act a certain way, but at the end of the day, we have to just keep moving, and we're going to love each other either way. So that's what really we've been focusing on, and I've been really happy to see that like my kids have stepped up. My daughter, she's 8. She's been really helping my wife with my son, with both of my sons, and my little son, my first son actually, he's gonna be 3, and when this baby starts crying, he starts crying because he wants that attention too. So if he was here right now, he'd be sitting in my lap because this baby's in my lap.
Yeah.
So anytime I have this baby, he wants to sit in my lap too, so I have to hold both of them, which is fine. Just trying to create more of that love for everybody and make sure there's no favorites and stuff like that, so it's good. They've been helping out, they've been stepping it up, and we're all just growing as a little family. We moved into this new house, so that's a big change. We're used to smaller environments, so we're spacing out more, and
that's good.
Yeah, we're not all cramped up on each other. We have our space to breathe, but we still have a lot of space to come together. We like to sit in the living room, watch TV, and I'm really excited that the holidays are coming up. Because it's just that we love Christmas, and we love Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and it's just a whole nother Halloween. We love Halloween, so I like it because the winter is very depressing for a lot of people and stuff like that, and it's very hard. We lose another hour, with the daylight savings, and it gets darker, and it's a thing when people get seriously depressed, and I'm glad the holidays are coming up to kind of help us all get through that. It'll be great, so I'm excited. I'm really excited for the holidays. You like the holidays?
Yeah, I do. I love the holidays. It's just that sometimes it gets me in a different mood. And that's the thing is like, my mental state's good, but at the same time, like anything could trigger it.
Yeah.
Like right now, let's say that with my tire went bad.
Yeah.
That could trigger me, and then I start thinking about everything else.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's not like in a specific way. It's more of a not as a specific way, like in the moment it happened. Like I don't think of a specific moment that happened in the past. It's more of that moment's energy, and all the moment's energies of the past come back through that one trigger.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like most of the times it's nothing to me. Most of the times it's just like, okay, get out of it.
Yeah.
It's that easy, but sometimes it's harder, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get stuck in it.
Yeah.
And when I get stuck in it, I like to kind of be on my own and write it. I like to write it. I like to be in it.
Yeah.
Like as bad as that might sound, like I said, if I took it some kind of way, I put a Mac Miller album on, some Kid Cudi, bro. I'm riding that wave.
Yeah.
I'm riding it, bro.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll ask myself why?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's the holidays?
Yeah.
Why? They're gonna be okay. The kids are gonna be with their mom, or they're gonna come with me. It's okay, man. You're living a good life. You're not in a relationship where it was bad no more. Like you gotta tell yourself, you gotta remind yourself those things.
It could be worse, yeah.
It could be worse, bro. And that's the thing about me. Like sometimes it might be fast. Sometimes I might think about it and then right away it leaves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sticks to for a few days, a day, a few hours. Like I never know, bro.
Yeah. Could last weeks.
Yeah, bro. It's hard, bro.
Yeah.
But besides that, I love the holiday because it brings joy to people.
Yeah.
It brings joy to a lot of people, like as far as coming together for Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. I love seeing that kind of stuff, man. Because again, I love seeing moments in people's lives where that might be the only good moment they're having.
Yeah. Like
in my mind, like right now, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know your situation, you don't know my situation, but in my mind, I'm gonna make this the best situation so you can remember this.
For sure.
So that's how I am with everywhere I go. Like if I'm somewhere, I'm trying to make it the best because that might be the only thing you're grasping onto.
Yeah.
For a few days or so, you know.
You never know what people are going through.
You never know, bro.
Man. It's rough out there.
Yeah,
it's rough out there, especially after this last couple of years of it's been crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I definitely feel like the holidays are gonna be a little harder this year. You know, just because people have lost their jobs and stuff like that, and you know, that's one of my memories as a kid. Every year, every Christmas, I would see my father crying because he didn't give us enough, you know, and he felt like a shitty father, you know. So every winter, I find myself sitting in that same spot where I feel like, damn, like I'm in his shoes. I'm not giving my kids enough. But then you have to be grateful, like, okay, they have presents under the tree. It might not be 10,000 presents. It might not be the newest PlayStations, but they have stuff to open, and my kids they're grateful for whatever we give them. You know, it's like I was talking to my wife. My son loves everything, and I was like, this year we're gonna give him a fucking banana or an avocado in a bag and see how excited he gets. Did you see that video of the mom who gave they gave their kid an avocado for Christmas, and he was just like, an avocado, like, and he loved it because kids are just, you know, as parents we're like, they want the nicest shit, but at that age, like they're happy to open anything, you know, and yeah. So the holidays are a little like, I love the holidays, but they're also a little rough. But I try to make it through. But
and that's the thing about like, cause there was many years when my dad didn't give us presents because we would do like a family gift exchange.
Yeah.
So that would be our present, whatever we get there. So my mom used to go to this place where they give presents to people that can't afford them.
Yeah.
So for like several years, we used to get presents from places that used to donate presents.
Yeah, I've gotten gifts from there as well. Yeah.
And then like, and then that's when you think about it too. Like you think back, like, damn, my dad went through that. He went through the phase where he can't give us gifts. Like,
yeah.
And I didn't see how he went through it or nothing.
Yeah.
But to think about like, man, my dad went through that phase, and then but now, coming back to me with my kids, bro. Like, in the same way, I don't give them all these different gifts. I give them little gifts, bro. I specifically won't try to find out what they really want.
Yeah.
Try to give them that one thing.
Little things, yeah.
Little couple things after that, but not too many things I go on, but they're happy, man. And I mean, that's like a sad thing, too, is like not having all that stuff to give, especially in Christmas, man. That shit.
Yeah.
That shit potentially could mess you up because it makes you feel less of a person. But that's the thing is like mentally I never got told like, bro, Christmas is about being with family.
Yeah.
Christmas is about having fucking fun. They naturally just happened, but they didn't personally tell you like, hey, Christmas is not about presents. Christmas is about having a good time as a family.
Yeah.
Christmas is about this and that, being joyful what you got. And then the presents are just a plus, you know?
Yeah, and that's, I wish that a lot of people have that misconception about Christmas where it's like, oh, you got to buy the, you know, Black Friday and this, but that's not what Christmas is about. Like, and like I said about like enjoying family time, like that's what it's about, man. And we got to get back to that. And
then that's our fault too for not explaining to our kids.
Yeah.
Our kids get taught about Christmas through TV commercials.
Yeah.
Their other friends don't tell them, hey, I had a good time with my aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
They tell them, nah, I had this badass fucking toy. That's what they tell them.
Yeah.
And then they go home with that, damn, I don't got that badass toy.
Yeah.
And and plus you didn't tell them that it's about being family and all this and now they're like, fuck, my Christmas wasn't shit.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like explaining every little thing like that. And this is the thing about kids. Like me now, I explain everything. Like I try to like be realistic about everything to them. Like the other day, well, this just recently happened where my daughter, she didn't turn certain things in for math, and the mom messaged me like, hey, Isabella didn't turn this in, this and that, and I'm like, okay, and I don't question more towards her because once I start asking questions, it turns the other way around.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to bash her. So I just, okay. I talked to Isabella and then she, of course, because I always communicate with her. She's like, yes, because I had math homework and then I got more math homework and I got this project. So everything was just piling up. So it was that. And I was just like, well, work on it. If you need help, let me know. She said she didn't need no help. But then later on, finding out she did need help, specifically with math. Maybe, so now I'm like, I asked her, so you didn't do your math because you didn't have, you couldn't do it? So you just kept skipping it? And she's like, yeah. It's like, look, see, this is the things I want to know. You got to explain to me. I got to understand you. Tell me, hey, Dad, I don't know how to do this math.
Yeah.
Then we'll fix the problem.
Just be honest about
Instead of being like, do the math. Why aren't you doing the math? And then now I know specifically what's going on. And I told her, like, it's okay. I failed some of my math stuff. I failed 6th grade.
Yeah.
School's going to get harder. I understand that. It was hard for me. I'm thinking it's going to be hard for you. But don't, like, talk to me when you have a problem. Tell me. And when you're in school and you don't understand, don't be afraid to talk.
Yeah.
These are the little things that growing up we never got told.
Yeah.
My shit, I got hit because I didn't know how to do my math problems.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you don't want to ask for help. And
bro, you're scared as hell. So like, I'm always like putting that in their minds, and like with my son the other day too. Like, he one time his sister, I Nashville. She went to Nashville because my cousin's daughter is my goddaughter. He's goddaughter. He's my daughter's goddaughter to him.
Okay.
And they're like best friends, including my son. But normally, if they go there by themselves, I just take my daughter because they're girls.
Yeah.
So it was just my daughter, and then it's time for me to pick up my son. So I told my son, "Hey, I'm gonna go pick you up," and he's like, "I don't want to go." I'm like, "What? What's going on?" He's like, "No, nothing. I just don't want to go." So I'm like, "I'm gonna go there. I'll let you know when I'm there." He didn't say nothing. I came over here, and I'm telling him, "Hey, come on, let's go." And he's like, "I don't want to go." And I'm like, "Why? What's happening?" He's like, "I'm playing on the computer." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I got a computer here." He's like, "No, I just want to stay here." I was like, "All right, cool." I'm like, I told him I was being honest with him. I'm like, "You know what? It hurts me that you don't want to come with me, but it's okay. It's okay, and I'm glad you told me. You don't have to always come with me. If you don't feel like coming with me, you don't have to. But just tell me. But I'm letting you know that it hurts me."
Yeah.
So we left it at that. A few weeks later, again, like, remember I told you we were disconnecting kind of?
Yeah.
And then I started being around them more, telling them to be around me more. So our connection was better, bro. He's always wants to be around me. And as soon as I get back from work, go hug.
Nice.
You know? So we're playing and we're like wrestling. And then he's like, he has this sad face, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Nothing." And his eye starts getting watery. And I'm like, "What's wrong? What's going on? Talk to me. I told you to like talk to me your feelings so I know how you feel." He's like, "I feel bad." And I'm like, "Why?" And he starts going through his phone, my old phone, because he connects it through Wi-Fi, and then he goes through. We have what is it called? Google messaging. What's it called?
Google Chat.
Hangouts.
Oh, Hangouts. Okay.
Hangouts. So that's what we use. And then he went through the time where he told me that he didn't want to come, and I'm like, "Well, what is this?" And he's like, "I feel bad because I told you I didn't want to come." And he started crying. Oh, man.
That's rough.
So I got teary-eyed too, and I'm like, "Well, it's not like that no more, man." I'm like, "I get it. It's I was sad, and I understand that you're sad." And he's like, "Yeah, I just didn't want to make you feel sad. You know, it's just like, it's okay. Sometimes it's got to be like this. Like, you don't want to come, you don't want to come. It's okay. And it's okay to be sad." But he's like, the fact that he went all the way back to his messages to show me that shit, I was just like, one, is bad because fuck, this is what he's like in his mind. So I told him, "You know what? Let's erase those messages and start brand new." So we erased the messages and started brand new. And I told him, like, don't ever feel like, it's okay to feel bad, but don't hold it in. Like, you can tell me about it. And then I told him, like, sometimes we feel like that. Sometimes we don't want to be bothered or anything, and that's okay. And sometimes it might hurt the other person's feelings, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You gotta speak up about it. And then so when I delete the messages, I'm like, okay, we're gonna start a new one. I sent him a new one, and everything became better. But the fact that the good part about that situation was that he told me.
Yeah.
He told me, like, one, it impacted him in a bad way.
Yeah.
That saying that he cares about me so much that he remembered that fucking specific message and it brought him down.
Yeah.
Like that, even though it's bad, at the same time it's good because he's strong about the feelings that a connection he has with his dad, with me. And then the fact that he was able to just like express that and open up, and now I'm like, man, like it sucks because sometimes I'm like, I do good things as a parent, and I look back and I'm like, damn, I wish I fucking had this.
Yeah.
I wish I had this shit, man. I wish I had these moments. But then you go back and like, hey, you're living this moment now, so live it with your son.
That's a beautiful moment to have. I mean, and he's gonna have those moments hopefully with his kids down the line if he has his kids, and you're laying a seed. You know, that's fantastic. I mean, and even the suggestion of you deleting it, like that's just, let's start fresh.
Yeah.
You know, like let's start new. Like don't worry.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
Man.
just don't want to go back to that later on and be like, fuck, go back into like that feeling like that. But
that's an accomplishment. That's a fatherhood accomplishment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to teach your kids communication. That it is, because, I mean, would you have told your dad that when you were his age? No, your dad probably would have said. What would your dad have said? You know, he would have said something stupid, or not necessarily stupid, but he would have said something not as meaningful.
Yeah.
You know, or he might have dismissed you,
Yeah.
or your feelings, and you know, it's just you're creating that new generation of communication with your kids and breaking those curses that you had to face as a kid.
Yeah, and another thing is acting like a kid with them too.
Yeah.
Having fun with them.
Yeah.
Like playing games, throwing a ball around, like the little things, man. They love that, man. And that's the thing that we've lost. Like to live a happy life is to live like a kid again.
Yeah.
So, like for example, I gave an example once before. Like I was starting the highway, and when you're going by Mokina, there's a warehouse that has like those inner little cars. The
like bumper cars?
No, not bumper cars, like the race ones.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I saw those, and I forgot who I was riding with. I think we were gonna play disc golf somewhere over there. But I was just like, dude, look, how crazy is it that I'm driving a car right now? A car, and I'm excited about those little go-karts.
Yeah.
It's like, how crazy is the little kid in you?
Yeah.
But as the older we get, we suppress that more and more.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about being around nature. Like, that's a little kid in you being around nature, seeing the water, seeing the trees, and being happy and free. Be getting dirty, getting your shoes dirty. All that. We lost that, bro. We're in a generation now that we don't want our shoes to be dirty at all.
Yeah, no, I can't get these Yeezys dirty.
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to get nothing dirty, bro. And all they do is buy shoes that they cannot get dirty.
Yeah, and then once they like scuff them, they'll throw them out and get a new pair. Some people
right, bro. So they get into they keep suppressing that feeling of being a kid.
Yeah. And
that's what you need to do, man. That's the best way to live life. To be happy is to be a kid, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, that we forget to do, and that I've loved, that I've reconnected with my kids because of that, like playing the Xbox. I don't even play Xbox like that no more. I don't. And like, and I don't put nobody down that does though.
Yeah. Because
I know a lot of people that's their only good time in their lives is when they put the Xbox on.
Yeah.
That's the only time they're enjoying life.
Yeah.
Is when they're fucking playing games. So I don't put that down, but I'm glad that I'm able to connect with my son specifically playing Xbox, we play Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
We play, what's that called? It's a cars that play soccer. Rocket League.
Okay.
We play that too, and that's pretty cool, bro. It's pretty cool to get into like little things like that. So don't ever lose that. That'll probably be my advice to people, especially because we're both fathers.
Yeah.
So we're coming from a father point of view. Like, don't lose that kid in you, specifically with your kids, man. There's been a lot of times where people tell kids, like, don't make no jokes when you're on the table. Don't make this or that. And, like, don't be too loud. Hell no, man. I'd be, like, with them. Like, or if they burp. Like, at my house, bro, we laugh about burping, bro. Even my daughter.
Yeah.
And but I tell them, like, when we're public, nah, like, keep it easy. But at the same time, like, I don't shut them down and make them feel bad because they want to burp, bro. A burp is funny, bro.
Yeah.
A
And they're
random
kids.
burp, a random fart, that's some funny shit right there. But we suppress it and no, you can't do that. That's nasty.
Yeah.
It's very natural, man. And it's funny, man. I remember listening to this guy that went to a tribe in Africa, no English, and they straight up live wild life where they hunt for their food, bro. And they say, yeah, dude, they're cool, bro. They some of these people think that they're like all these warriors. They're always serious. Nah, bro. They be laughing. They be fucking farting, like making farts and laughing and stuff like that. It's the very simple kid fun shit you do. And I'm just saying, like, refers back to me saying, don't lose that kid in you, man.
Yeah.
Don't lose that having fun thing in you, man. Going out, going to nature with them, doing all that stuff. It just brings you in a better place and your kids, and it connects you all together, man.
Yeah.
And having them stuck in a laptop or a tablet or phone is not bad either. It's the new generation, bro.
Yeah.
We did things our fucking parents didn't like.
Yeah.
Because it was not part of their generation. It's normal, but don't forget to balance in that going out, doing different things together instead of always staying on the screen either.
Yeah.
And it's a better mental health for us as fathers, as parents.
Yeah.
Like doing all that stuff. Because like you said, sometimes you're not there with your kids. And plus, on the holidays, on the weekends, you're not really connecting with them. So that messes you up, bro. Yeah. Even if you're not thinking about it specifically, it's still like, it's in your unconsciousness. Like, it's in there, like all this feelings of emptiness.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people's parents that have no kind of connection with their kids at all.
Yeah.
And it sucks, dude. But, just try to live your life as a kid.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I thank you for coming and just having these conversations with me. And, I wanted to learn about you, and I feel like I definitely learned a shit ton about you.
Yeah.
And it's great, because I feel like we need to learn more about each other, and so we can understand how to move forward with each other. And that's what it's about, learning about you. I consider you a good friend of mine, and, I'm always there for you. And I know that if I needed you, I could call you, and I appreciate that. And, we're definitely very similar. We got kids and trying to do our own thing, and man, you're doing a great job.
Bro, I see you, man.
Yeah.
Out there in nature, like,
I'm trying.
Reconnecting.
Yeah, I mean, nature has been a big thing. I was raised as an only child, even though I had siblings. And I told you how I grew up a few blocks away from here. I was alone a lot of the time in my childhood. My aunt and my uncle who were raising me, they were working a lot, so I was the only kid in my house. So I had a lot of free time, man, and what I did was, I learned as much shit as I could. I dove into all my passions. I like to do shit. I like to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest thing was going across the street to the lake, and I would just go and sit there and just watch the water and just listen to it. So I'm trying to get back to that, because that was like my safe space. That's when I felt the most comfortable. I felt safe there. I was a little kid sitting in the middle, in this water, feeling safe, because that's what it was back then. We were safe. And I love getting back out into that water. That's the same water that I go into now, and it's just getting back into that and trying to be peaceful and really appreciate the beauty of this earth, man. There's so much beauty in the earth, and honestly, I don't know how much longer we're going to have left with this earth, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and the earth's deteriorating, and that's a whole nother episode, but I'm just trying to enjoy it, trying to enjoy the fresh water. Even my kids, we took them to Tennessee, and we were in the mountains and the creeks, and they were just like loving it. And my daughter, I thought she was gonna be like freaked out about the water. It was crystal clear. You can see in it. There was fish. You can clearly see the fish, and I was just like, damn, like she's not gonna get in there. And first thing, she fucking jumped in there, man. I was like, oh shit! I was like, all right, we're gonna have a good time. But even my kids, they love it. My son was like trying to play in the water, and now I can't take him anywhere because he wants to get in the water now, because he thinks that's how he thinks that's okay, like I'm like, dude, you can't go in that water, you're gonna fall. It's deep, it's not a creek, so it's good. Like, it gives me more of a reason to take them out, and I like fishing and stuff like that. It's taking them. Teaching my daughter how to fish. My son's still young and he's trying to do it, but just pass those things on instead of just being on the tablet all day, because like you said, I mean, I don't tablet. A lot of parents are against it. My kids learn their ABCs off of that. Like my son's they're very smart. I think kids are learning a lot, but you definitely have to monitor what they're watching, how much they're watching it.
Yeah.
And you have to balance it, like you said. So I think definitely trying to take them out more, and it's good for us, like you said, because it's good for our mind state. We love that shit.
Yeah.
You know, let them love it, so we can all love it together.
Yeah.
And then it just creates, you know, just these generations of memories and yeah.
And then since they grow up with that, later on when they're adults, they're gonna think back to those times with you, being out in nature. So they're gonna be more into doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like motivated to like, man, let's let me go fish. I remember my dad used to take me fishing. Let me go fish.
Yeah.
Let me go over here and jump in this lake.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. And it's just great. I mean, our kids they just want to be like us, you know, like they want to do they want to be with daddy, they want to be with mommy, and, you know, we just got to stay on the right path. We got to remember that we're role models, you know, for these kids. And, man, you're doing a great job as a parent, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man, you're doing a great job. And like I said before, if you ever need anything, reach out. Definitely love to have you back on the show.
Definitely.
Anytime. I appreciate you being patient about my son. But he wanted to be part of it. So he wanted to be here.
Special guest today.
Yeah. He's like, Voyager.
Exclusive.
Voyager who?
I want to go there.
Yeah, so thank you, man. I appreciate you coming by. And thank you for your advice to the audience. Definitely, guys. Check out Voyager. Freddy, check out his Instagram.
Voyager783 on Instagram, Facebook too, but Facebook is just a copy of what I put in Instagram sometimes. It's Voyager783.com for my website. If you want to check some of my merch, check out the buy. Once you get in the website, I kind of set it up where you experience it first. Nice. And then you get to the purchases.
Nice.
So yeah, it's because it's like, for me, it's like, it's not a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's what I want to promote, is a lifestyle, man. And by you guys purchasing some of my items, that of course helps me a lot, because most of my stuff has like the Explore Earth on there, and it has little hidden messages like here, pause and experience on this beanie right here. So yeah, or go to my Instagram page and kind of see what I do, see what I'm about, see what I post, see my video edits, see my photo edits, see just everything that I do on there to kind of hopefully influence somebody to do something, change their ways or find the better ways, you know. So definitely go support Tommy. He just started this, so let's fucking support him. Let's watch his episodes, share them. That helps out. Sharing helps a lot. Please do that too.
For sure.
And look, a couple fucking dads trying to make it.
That's it. That's all it is, man. We're not doing. I mean, we're gonna get there. I know it, but. Yeah, it's just the ride is trying to make the ride worth it, you know, because it's going to be a fucking crazy ride. We just got to make it worth it, and we got to make it through. It's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Definitely go check him out, guys. He has some great merch, and his Instagram is awesome. He always has some really good stories, a lot of good music, very good music recommendations. So definitely check him out. Thank you again, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace.